We have been fortunate to have Mr. Thomas Lakozek speak with us before. As a heritage speaker himself, he knows the importance and challenges of work we do in heritage language schools. He has served Albertans in the provincial legislature both as a cabinet minister and as a deputy premier. Mr. Thomas Lakozek, everybody.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a real honor and a pleasure to be still invited to ICLA's annual event. And earlier this morning, I was watching all the delightful dancers, and they were all phenomenal, and they deserve another applause. But I have to tell you, the ones that delighted me the most were the German dancers and singers. And you ask yourself why? Well, because I am so happy that they're spending every Saturday morning learning the German language and not hockey. As you know, Germany beat us in hockey. Yes. What you're doing, I cannot overstate how important it is. And it so happened that when Mrs. Kravchik called me and invited me to be here, I just happened to be at the Phnom Penh airport in Cambodia. And there I had the pleasure of meeting a family who were just immigrating to the United States. And it was mother and a father and two small children, and they have never flown on an airplane, and they have no clue where they're going. And they had their suitcases with them, and in those suitcases they had all of their worldly belongings packed, knowing that they may never return to Cambodia. And I just finished conversing via email with Mrs. Kravchik, and I was wondering, will those children remember their language, Cambodian language? Will they become Americans and forget their language? And I was hoping that they wouldn't, because as all of you in this room know, when I'm preaching to the converted, language is just more than a means of communicating. Language is really a filter through which you hear things and through which you express things. And there's a reason why we call it mother language. No, we could call it first language, but we don't. We call it mother language because language, just like our mothers, shapes our values and shapes what we hear. And for those of you who have a heritage language, a mother language, and speak English, try reading a book that is translated from your language to English, and read them one after another. And even though you will find that it is faithfully translated word for word, you will find that you get a totally different meaning reading that very same book in your heritage language and then in English. Why? Because it is not the words on the pages that are translated, it is the culture and the values and the religion, everything that you bring into that book when you're reading it in your motherly language. And I know that a lot of us who have learned another language first from our mothers will tell you that saying I love you in your own language has a totally different meaning than saying that in English. Because you heard it first from your mom in your heritage language, and it means so much more. So what you're doing now is you're passing it on to the next generation of children, and there is nothing more important that you can do than maintaining those languages alive. So I must bid you adieu, because I actually have to go now to the Henry Sienkiewicz School, the Polish language school, and pick up my daughter from class. So if you see me leave, don't be upset, but I have to go and pick up my daughter. So thank you very much, and thank you, ICLA, for doing what you're doing. This is simply outstanding. Thank you all.